So, very warm welcome to all you wonderful listeners of Universal Mentors Association. We are drawing towards the close of day two of the Digital Education Summit and Awards, and we are here with the final panel discussion, which is also very, very important. It is here to discuss about the one missing link with all the other events that we see is the international students. We do not want to leave our international students and their interest out. Hence, we have with us this amazing panel, which will be talking about the topic of scope and challenges faced by international students and the role of international universities across. And we have some really good international institutions here participating with us here on this amazing panel. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to Mr. Prashant Srivastava, who's the Director South Asia, Seneca College, Toronto, Canada. So, welcome. He's also going to be the moderator of the session. Mr. Puneet Soin, who's the Director of SI UK. Mr. Mudit Pandey, who's the Director, University Partnership, Uni Experts Limited, UK. We have with us Mr. Kumar Lopez, who's the CEO of Sri Lanka Press Institute. He's joining us all the way from Sri Lanka. Ms. Anju Chopra, who's the Business Development Manager of University of Europe for Applied Sciences. Thank you so much to all the wonderful speakers on the panel joining us for this amazing panel. So, without further ado, I request Prashant sir to please take this session away, and I wish all the panelists a very, very happy and a wonderful session ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandeep ji, and it is my pleasure and delight to moderate this panel. And warm welcome to all the listeners and my fellow panelists. So before we start, I will just go over with the flow of the session. I will start with a small remark by highlighting the scope and challenges of faced by international students and the role of international universities in this arena, followed by remarks from each panelist. Further, I have also prepared questions for our panelists, which I will ask as part of my moderation. And in the end, we will have concluding remarks. So without further ado, let us start. So again, good evening, everyone in India, and good morning from Toronto. The scope and challenges faced by international students and role of international universities, it is such a pertinent topic for discussion as more students are seeking global education. According to recent research report, we expect 1 billion additional post-secondary graduates over the next 30 years, and 75% of this growth will be driven by Asia and Africa, where the most of the younger population and demographically more people are seeking international education. In terms of the dollar value of international education, the $196 billion international education market is set to reach by 433 billion by 2030, growing at the rate of 7.4 CAGR. And these are recent data which has come to light in international newsletters as well. In terms of where I'm located, I'm based out of Canada, based in Toronto. There are over 600,000 international students studying at all levels in Canadian institutions. Canada has experienced significantly growth of international students with over 154% increase in international students from 2018 to 2018. So with this context, we also see that a lot of contribution coming out of international students in the society, in the host countries where they study. For instance, in Canada, the contribution is over $22 billion in Canadian economy, and it supports 170,000 full-time Canadian jobs. International students not only study in Canada, but also they work part-time, contributing to the skill development and meeting the skill needs, labor market needs of the society here. Eventually, many students, international students, are able to immigrate through different immigration pathways. In 2019, the Canadian Experience Class and Immigration Pathway designed for international students and foreign workers accounted for 34% of new immigrants in Canada. So overall, holistically, there has been a wide range of contribution of international students in the society wherever they are studying, and not only just in our country, but in all the countries wherever they go in the destination countries. But they face a lot of challenges, and these challenges are evident pre-COVID, and during COVID, it has come to a light to a wider extent. For instance, there are cultural challenges which international students face because they come from a different culture, and in a foreign country, when they travel, there is a different way of doing things. There are different beliefs, behavior, and customs as well. That food is different, the food habits, plus international students at times we have seen they are not well prepared how to cook the meals, and these are the basic requirements when they move to the a destination country where they have to do things by themselves. We also see that international students face academic challenges, be it issues such as plagiarism. There are language barriers. Although coming out of India, the language is English, but we do see that there's a difference in the education system between the Indian education system or the foreign education system, be it Canada, UK, USA, any of the destination countries. As well as there are challenges with respect to accommodation. International students do face those challenges, that how to live, how to find an accommodation. These are all transitional challenges. Plus finance. Finance is also a big challenge because the currency conversion rate is there, and when they move to a foreign country, sometimes the currency conversion rates are enormous, and they have to plan their budget accordingly, and at times they run out of funds as well. Also in countries like colder countries like Canada or the UK, where the temperature can go up to from the countries they are coming, which are relatively hotter, the temperature can go up to -25 or -35, and those are enormous challenges for international students. So what we have seen that these challenges were evident, but due to COVID, it has come to light that there has been widespread media news as well in Canada and elsewhere that these are the challenges international students are facing. With COVID, it became more evident because flights were banned, and there were travel restrictions all over the place. New norms were established with respect to travel mobility as it's resuming. So international students have been facing all these challenges quite in a longer duration of time before COVID and during COVID. There has been isolation, social stress, mental health issues we have seen which have come into the light of international students. So with this in context, now I will move to our panelists where they can speak their views on this topic, and then we will move to the prepared question. So with this, I will move to Mr. Puneet Soin, who can share his thoughts, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Prashanthi, for giving an opportunity to speak. And of course, you have explained very nicely, these are the challenges which international students are facing. But particularly, we talk about the Indian student context. Myself, a graduate of UK University, I studied, supply engineering in 2008-9, and I studied at University of Warwick. That time, when I went there for a first time, I landed on a first day in UK. It was a kind of a culture shock for me because which I starting from airport, everyone was standing in a queue, right? Nobody's bumping around, whereas in Delhi airport, everyone's bumping around. So that was something changed my mind. People are not forcing you or not pushing you up. So that's first thing. And then suddenly I realized in the universities we always see libraries, we hardly see a canteen in the college, or not a good quality student union bars, or the facilities we have it. So over there again I was surprised on second day how come university nicely have a restaurants over there. It looks like a restaurant in Connaught Place. You're sitting in a Connaught Place area. So that was kind of things which I picked up as my cultural shock. Then you see it's very important to mingle with the people over there. Luckily I got an opportunity to went into freshers week, my orientation week. So I got an opportunity to meet with a lot of friends, make new friends over there from different nationalities. But people who joined later on after freshers week, they didn't get an opportunity to mingle with these people, so that window got closed. So I see this is one of the challenge for international students when they reach very late and joining their programs late, so they not get an opportunity to speak to other people from different departments in there. Leaving it again, it's one of the very important challenge which international students are facing. Luckily I didn't face this because I pre-booked my accommodation with the university, but students do face living challenge when they book their accommodation. The price of the accommodation got increased up, and of course availability is not available. Then of course you have a food is like something start missing your food, home food, especially mother cooked food. So these are the things which are kind of a challenge when I were there. Homesickness was there for me, but luckily I got good friends, and of course I'm able to get back to India after 3 months, meet my parents, and then again went back. But again, this is one of my challenge which I faced initially in the first 3 months in my life in the UK. I say there are a couple of things which students also miss about the information challenge, because there is so much of information available on the internet which is not true, right, and sometimes get obsolete very quickly. So it's very important for students to get in touch with the international office of the university, which particularly they are going in there, and get and keep update information about this, especially this pandemic season when restrictions are in place. We got confused which country is open, which country is not open, what are the restrictions of going to UK or other countries, if they'll accept Indian medicine AstraZeneca, this medicine, COVID shield or co-vaccine. So all this information information management has to be done by the students in there. So that's the challenge which I feel at the moment students are facing. But yes, these challenges can be overcome if we talk about the scopes in later on.
Thank you, Punitji, for nicely putting your own experience. And more recently, I traveled actually to India during the time of COVID. And while coming back, I can tell you that the travel was not pleasant. And I really applaud our international students. They are really courageous and brave to to make their travel plans despite the pandemic. So thank you. Now I will move to Mr. Mudit Pandey, who can share his thought, please.
Thank you, Prashantji, for giving me this opportunity to speak on this panel. So most of the topic has already been covered by Mr. Swain, but I'll just add on to that. I have been an anxiety and depression patient since last almost 18 years. So since my teenage, I lost my father, and because of that, I've gone into depression, and then it's simply converted into an anxiety. So at that same time, I decided to go abroad. So obviously, that was a big challenge for me to accept this, because as Mr. Swain said, that's really very true. When you travel from here to UK, you feel a big cultural change. You start missing your food, and then there obviously the connectivity issues are also there. So what happened in India? Normally we have been spoon feeded a lot of the time. The students in India have been spoon feeded by the parents, and they have been actually pampered when we are here. Most of these students, but that is not what we get when we travel to the different country. So our parents is used to be our friends or the person who are living with us. So coping up with mental stress, which was the topic of today's session. So coping with mental stress is a lot of time is not easy. We a lot of time we don't realize the importance of sunlight also, if I'll tell you honestly, as per my experience. So when I reach UK, I didn't able to see almost sunlight for the next 6 to 8 months. It was a heavy snowfall over there, which add on and contribute to the depression and anxiety if a patient is there. Because I have been an anxiety patient, so I can feel that when I came back to in India and see the sunlight. I'm telling you honestly, it was a ray of hope for me when I see the sunlight back in home country. So I can see a lot of things worsen when we compare it to the COVID thing, because a lot of the students who are looking forward to travel, at the same time they have a lot more additional stress and mental anxiety, that even if they are get the right treatment or not, if in case they infect COVID when they'll reach UK. Though I'll still appreciate UK universities and UK government the way they have handled it. I was the Solent University Southampton representative when the COVID thing started. So I've worked for Solent University for 2.5 years. So obviously, as soon as I've joined, just after the first intake, the COVID has started. So I can understand the student actually has been courageous. You are absolutely right to travel in such a situation to a different country and leaving behind their mental stress here. But that's not exactly the case. Is they have been under immense mental stress. And universities, and I'm in full favor of university and the government. They have taken really good step, which we'll discuss it later on, to cope up with these issues.
Thank you, Muditji, for your remark. And it is personal stories also for all of us. During the COVID, we have seen that how the situation have become worsen, and then there were like increase and decrease of cases with Delta variant, and then now Omicron. I hope this eases off and we would be back to
Just
normal.
hope so, sir. Just hope so.
And thank you so much. So now I will move to Mr. Kumar Lopez, who can share his thoughts, please.
Thank you, Prashant, for this opportunity and this for inviting me as well. I think like I would basically pitch it from the angle of like what the universities can do in situations where like we have migrant students going in for education, because that becomes a very important piece. Because while we do understand the struggles that the students undergo, I think the university also has to play a role in supporting the students so that they could actually settle in and they can manage this culture shock, and to basically help them to cope up with this change that is rapidly kinds of hits them. I mean, like listening to Puneet and Pandey as well. I mean, that's what they're saying is that, look, I mean, it's overall a different culture. I mean, I'm from Sri Lankan perspective. I can see a lot of students envy to go to the other side, thinking that everything is going to be a one walk in the park and it's going to be a rosy picture, because all the previous students who had gone there, they actually paint a different picture, saying that this is really nice. But yes, in certain universities, in certain mechanisms, the university's role has actually made things easier for the students to adapt, right? But whereas in many other universities, some of the universities, you don't find that mechanism. So for me, I feel like there is a key role that needs to be played by the universities. The role of the support staff, the counselors, the mentors, the lecturers, right? Where they need to play a role where the student can actually be brought into certain needs, which means at the initial stage, there may be a need to kind of hold hand. And I feel like it has to do more with empathy than sympathy, right? They need to empathize with the understanding of the context under which these students are actually coming into this part of the country, so that they can actually see the difficulties that they go through. I mean, sometimes these stories some of the students tell you, I mean, like it's really so sad. I mean, they basically, some of us have been blessed to have the resources, but many who don't have the resources, they try to find the resources in a different way, thinking that the life on the other side or the pasture on the other side is far greener. So I'm more inclined towards saying that, look, the universities have a role to play in supporting the students, and it has to come with empathy and understanding of the context from where the students are actually coming into to be part of their programs and so on. So that's my initial remarks at the moment, Prashant.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar, and I agree with you and with all the panelists that role of universities, colleges, institutions are enormous. And not only to do events like pre-departure orientation, post-landing orientation, and providing support services, but to reach out with counseling and support, and what you have rightly pointed out with empathy rather than sympathy. So these are the mechanism by which international students would definitely feel welcomed on campus. Now I will move to Ms. Anju Chopra to share her views on it. Thank you.
Hi, Prashant sir. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity today. My views are same as everybody else's here. And yes, students face a lot of challenges once they land at the airport of that particular country where they're going, and from day one, from that particular hour, they start facing challenges. Be it the transportation from where they have to go, be it accommodation, be it like how to open bank account, how to register at the university, how to pay their fees, how to make friends, how to join classes, how to even join the library, attend the library. There are so many challenges for the students. Though these days, I think the media has become very strong. Social media has become very strong, and they're playing a very good role. Everybody can Google things and see, as compared to like if we go back few years when there was nothing. We were totally dependent on the face-to-face talk to someone, and still the students were going. And you are absolutely right that students are courageous enough to still face those challenges and go. And I agree to Mr. Lopez also that universities should play a major role in helping students for all for all these challenges. And we do play a good role because we do understand that what kind of problems a student is going to face. Because we attended universities as students, we do understand the kind of infrastructure we have in India and the kind of infrastructure we are going to have in the other country. So yes, we are there to help them out from day one, from the first hour when they join. Yes.
Thank you, Anjuji, for your remarks. And yes, like universities, colleges, like I work in Seneca, and during COVID and before COVID, we have been providing support services. And means during COVID, when we had these travel bans, and then like students were stranded as well. They were not able to go out from their home. Here, the community also pitched in, and I was able to work with Indian consulate and other community groups where they distributed free groceries to international students. So a lot of support activity have been done by all stakeholders, but definitely these things have to be done more and more, because there is a duty of care for international students when they are coming to these destination countries. So now let us move to our next round, and I will ask questions to each panelist. My first question is to Mr. Puneet. Puneet, in your experience, how international universities have been supporting students? Since you are working with several universities, you can share your thoughts that what has been done with respect to the well-being and mental health and coping with the stress during the pandemic, taking into the consideration of cultural context of international students. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Prashantji. Well, I would like to define this into the pre-COVID era and post-COVID era. In the pre-COVID era, all departments were there, but we never get an opportunity to see these departments exist, or we never want these departments to come and highlight to us, or they do not advertise to international students. For example, each university have the mental health department, right? So students, if they are homesick, they're not able to cope up their education, or for XYZ reason, anything happen, and they're not mentally stable, then they can reach out to this department. Each university have a chaplaincy over there. So either you're coming from any religion, you can go and follow your own religion over there. But when I was student, I never went to these places. I never got an opportunity or requirement to get into this. But in this pandemic era,
I think he has frozen, if I'm not wrong. Hello?
Yeah, I think so. He's yeah. I was thinking there is some problem with my internet.
Okay, so yeah, he has exited. So I think to continue with the flow, I will move to my next question. Actually, I will. This question is for Mr. Mudit Pandey. Mudit, living in isolation in a foreign country due to the impact of COVID-19 has caused stress, anxiety, and mental health issues. Please provide measures of support provided by international universities in your experience to address these issues. Thank you.
Sorry, sir, I lost you in between. There was some issue with my internet as well. I couldn't hear what you were
Okay.
exactly
So,
addressing.
yeah,
I'm
I
really
will. I
sorry.
will. No, that's okay. I will repeat it again. So,
Mhm.
living in isolation in a foreign country due to impact of COVID-19 has caused stress, anxiety, and mental health issues. Please provide measures of support with your experience that international universities have provided to address these issues.
So I will answer this question as per the perspective of two things. Number one is obviously how Solent has worked it out, and number two, with couple of universities I'm already in touch with. So I'll tell you how the universities in UK have tried to support the student. So the first thing that they have done is they have created a separate team, counseling team. Because whenever you are under mental stress or you in anxiety or something like this, depression, you need the first thing you need is proper counseling. So what Solent University has done is created a separate team which has actually started giving counseling to students so that they should not get panic. Then there was a separate helpline number
अरे
that we have
जल्दी आ यार
created
ये
so
स्पीकर
that
भी नहीं चल
most
रहा
of the
जल्दी आ
students most of the student can get help directly from that helpline. So we were providing food. We were actually trying to provide
आपको कर दिया
accommodation.
यार तुम लोगों
And
ने
the one
ये कह
part
रहा है क्या
that
लिखा रहा है
you
इसमें
said,
स्पीकर भी नहीं चल रहा
I think he's still speaking at the background. So I'll continue. So we have created helpline numbers which were supposed to help a student not just with only counseling but with accommodation and the supply of food also. Though we have been highly obliged and we will always that we got a lot of support from the local communities in Southampton. So there are a couple of communities in Southampton, Solent, which have actually helped the students not of just Solent University, but also the students who have came to study from other, I mean to say the other universities in the Southampton region. So I don't want to take name though, like it's good always to take names. So I'll take a name of a person. Just there is a guy whose name is Preetpal Singh, who is actually one of the contestants of elections in Southampton. He was really helpful to all the students irrespective of the fact which universities are they coming into. He was in continuous touch with me. We have created several WhatsApp group where he was trying to understand what is the need of the student. I mean to say he has actually distributed foods for almost a week to 10 days to the students who are in need. So I'm saying like not just the government, not just the universities, but the local communities, all of them have helped the student around. That is what I'm saying. I'm still very much satisfied and obliged to the government, universities, and the communities the way they have reacted towards the COVID. Otherwise, I can because I have been under a couple of mental disorder for a couple of years, as I said, so I can understand the situation of students right down there. While I'm sitting down here in India with my complete family, I have got contracted with COVID, unfortunately, all the three times. So first wave, Delta wave, and Omicron also. Okay, so I can see the kind of a stress that we develop, and in my family, I have lost a couple of people also in this Delta wave. So I can imagine the students sitting down there, the kind of stress that they would be handling, because obviously most of the students that are going to a mediocre university, they don't have a wealthy background. So they go in an assumption that they'll be able to earn their living there. But when the COVID hit, there was no part-time jobs for them. It was easy for people to say that as per the visa requirement, they have shown enough money that they can survive. But we all know, being education consultant, uni reps, and a former student, we all sitting down here have been through this journey. We all have been a student, we all have been uni rep, we all have been a consultant. So we all know that the amount of money that students show actually to live in a broad country, most of them actually don't have that. They show it just because it's a requirement for visa, and they are quite dependent on the earning when they'll reach there. So once you reach there, you face that, look, number one, there is no earning. Number two, there is no going out. So it's going to be highly mental stressed. Number three, you have to still study and pass without the physical classes. Okay. though we have tried as a university to help them up. We have, as I said, we have created separate teams to counsel them. We have helpline numbers. The communities have helped them, but it was not an easy transition for students to start getting used to online education. So it was hard to bring them, and it was hard to make them active also throughout the class. But I'll still say a commendable job to everybody, not just the universities, not just the government, not just the communities, but also to students, that they have actually cope up with the transition at the end of the day. I know the struggle is there, but they have done quite well.
Thank you, Mudit, for your remarks, and I completely agree with you. We have also seen the same here in Canada when the province of Ontario ordered closure of all non-essential businesses. International students who are working in hospitality, retail, tourism sectors, they lost their jobs. So it was tremendous financial stress, and they were not used to of social and physical distancing. So yes, those things definitely cause those mental health issues. So thank you. So now I see Puneet has come back, so I will come back to him, and he can finish his remarks. So Puneet, please, over to you.
Sorry, we got disconnected again. This is one of the challenge I faced in India, technology, right? So imagine the students who've been there, they've been got disconnected from the internet, how they're gonna learn and how they're gonna pass. So, but yes, universities are quite good into that. They understand these are the challenges students are facing, which Mudit have just mentioned, the financial state, like, challenge, the emotional challenge, or like, the instability of like students during that COVID area. So coming back on my side, like, when I was mentioning, like, the pre-COVID era, all departments were there, but we never get an opportunity or having a requirement to like, speak to them, right? Or either don't want to go to like mandir or chaplaincy to like, go to these places. I just want to go to library, my union bar, classroom, and that's it. But actually these things do like, available in the university. So university, when we say international university, it's a truly international university. They figure out all these things pre-hand. But during the COVID, these things get exaggerated and students start feeling we need it. So a lot of like, the like mental health being counselors being in demand in the UK universities. They've been like giving day, night and out these counselings to students. Plus, university got so much of like, generous. They've been like, dealing your payments. They understand you're not able to make your payments for fees, tuition fee. That's okay. In fact, many of the universities in other countries have given financial grants to students if they're not able to do part-time jobs. So this helps the students to like, to get their like, finance sorted. By the meantime, in a hope, this COVID will pass on. So luckily at the situation, all the students in the UK and other countries, they are getting part-time jobs. They are able to support themselves, and they're not like, facing any more challenges as far as I know in my good knowledge. So this is what, plus community, self-group is like something I say like, it's been so blessed to the students. For example, like many of the universities have encouraged their student ambassador and student alumni to make these groups, WhatsApp groups, so they can help each other. Those for those students who are in the UK or in that particular country, or those who are not in the UK but they are in India. So every group, every community member, university, agencies, student ambassador, everyone have come out and have shown a generosity, a socialism, like, helping each other. So I say like all these things got happen. And I think like these are the things which like, university have cater on. Technology again is one of the big challenge, but now we are used to technology with the help of like hybrid class learnings. In fact, there is a social dilemma going on about the employees to come back in the offices and start working in there. So it's a big talk of another day. But these things do happen. We have start learning these things. We have changed ourselves. So we're not like, repeating these things. It's not going to be more stressful for us and not any more challenge for us. So these are the things which I would like to highlight in there. Thank you, Prashant.
Thank you, Puneetji, for your remarks. And I agree with you that institutions are coming with a lot of support services during the time of COVID. My own institution where I work at Seneca, we distributed over $10.5 million to students experiencing financial stress due to COVID. Also, we created a Seneca COVID-19 relief fund and distributed relief funds to over 9,000 international students. Also, college donated laptops because of the technology challenges the students were facing. And the collaboration was with hospitals, with Seneca Student Federation. Everyone, they came together to support the students. At this time, also in the vaccination rollout, we have partnered with the North York General Hospital in Toronto for the vaccination campaign as well. So thank you so much. Now I will move to Mr. Kumar Lopez. Mr. Lopez, could you explain the role of different international university staff, for example, the instructors and student support departments, in providing support to students during this unprecedented time? What you have experienced in your observation, that what kind of support they have provided? Over to you, please.
Right. Well, I think I would basically echo what probably Pandey and then Puneet had also mentioned, the need for a help desk. And what I noticed in this pandemic, this situation, I've seen universities that basically have gone on to start off their programs in a hybrid model, as we all seen it. And what has been also important is to understand the factors that Puneet just experienced. I mean, the lack of connectivity. So you are on a live session and then there's a lack of connectivity. But then they have also made efforts to ensure that they are able to send the transcripts, right? To say that, look, I mean, this is what we covered and this is where the recording is. So the help desk is, rather than saying, well, go find it, they basically ensure that they're reaching out to the students, which means they had also given that accessibility with the right help desk, the counselors, so that they can actually provide that service. So there had been more attention that I have found in some of the universities where they have given that that individual attentions, given that the dynamics that we work in, like India, Sri Lanka, the instability of the connectivity is an issue, although it may not be the same in that part of the world, but in this part of the world, it's an issue. And understanding that and providing these additional value additions has been one of the highlights that I have also seen in this process. The next, obviously, the students get pressurized with the semester end assignments, dealing with the assignments, and then tackling it. I've seen universities have been able to, besides the resources of financial that we already spoken about, they've actually taken measures where they have actually gone on to say, like, okay, to relook at the assignments, right? Relook at the assignments and to ensure that they are able to break it in smaller chunks, because there is a traumatic situation that's taking place throughout the world, right? People are losing their loved ones. People have lost their loved ones, the extended family. So they are going through a traumatic situation. So they kind of looked at different models of how can we ensure that we don't add more pressure to the students, but at the same time not compromise the quality of the delivery of the program, right? So I know, like in some of the programs, we had compulsory examinations, but they converted that into assignments, right? And those assignments, rather than having one single assignment, they broke that into 3 assignments, making to ensure that they are able to capture and articulate on the particular area, the thematic area that they want to test them in, right? So this is how, like, I found the lectures group and the academic group has gone about tackling it. The accessibility to the counselors in regard to their membership, their payments, semester fees, and so on, giving them an additional time frame for them to pay them, right? Hooking them up with the relevant banks or any financial services, or even institutions that were supporting the students. So that role has been there as well, right? Communication, constant communication has been there, right? Because uncertain times, they have also had, as Pandey was saying, that counselors who are basically checking on the health of the students, right? Health of the students, so that to see that they are okay, right? That they are able to continue that. Right, that they're able to continue and they are able to handle things in a different way, right? So these are things that have kind of ensured that they are able to handle things, right, and support the students in such a way, right, that they are able to ensure the students are able to be part of the program, right? So these supporting mechanisms coming up with accessibility, communication, understanding of the context, and being empathy, right, as bundled in during this time, which I've seen in some of the universities, while I must also admit some universities have not at all met the requirements, they've not been able to meet these standards. I hope I answered your question, Prashant.
No, thank you for your remarks, and I hope our listeners also would have would definitely appreciate, and you have enlightened all of us. And I agree with you. Communication is the key during the time of COVID. And I've seen in my again institution and also across Canada, the university and college staff, they have gone above and beyond. For instance, like during the Christmas break, we had emergency helpline. So we were available for our students 24/7 during the break as well. So whatever we could do, we did try. So now I will move to Ms. Anju Chopra. Anju, my question to you is on the, as you know, the impact of COVID-19 on visa processing of several countries have resulted to significant backlog. And we have seen in the media outlets also about the supply chain challenges with respect to visa processing. Thousands of international students are studying online as well because they're not able to travel, they're not able to get the visa on time. How do you see that international universities managing the expectations and providing support to international students who are studying remotely from their home countries? Please, over to you.
Hi, Prashant. Thanks for your question. And what I can see from different articles in newspapers and from talking to different universities, that everybody was really helpful. But yes, I can give you more detailed information about our university. At our university, I mean, it's in Germany, so visa challenges were like many. So in this, to help out our students, we are running the classes like in all three ways. One is like off campus, then online, and then hybrid learning. So depending upon this situation of the country, students can join the program. And in this situation, we are even giving students they can join the classes, online classes with minimal deposit. They don't have to, it's just a kind of promise they are making to us. They don't have to pay their fees till the time they get the visas, till the time they reach university. And till then they can study online. And we have even given free laptops to the students who were not able to afford laptops, or they were not ready to buy laptops till the time they get their visas and all. And we even given them like a kind of time, say 15 days or 20 days. I mean, they can join online classes if they are happy with that. If they are ready to, like, proceed with the classes, they can. Otherwise, if they want, they can, defer their offer for next intake if they're not very comfortable in doing online classes. And apart from that, they can, we are giving them a free internet for the classes. And there are smaller groups with the professors, where students can reach out to professors, to mentors, in case they have any queries regarding the classes, or they can make their own groups also with like friends and all. And we are giving them recorded lectures in case they are not able to attend the lectures. And assignments also, they are getting like good help in getting assignments as well. And if their students if they've reached the university, the country, again, we are helping them with part-time jobs as well. And so that they can get some part-time jobs. And even in Germany, there were banks who were giving loans to the students in case since they were struggling with their finances. So loans were also given that way. So I think if the student is ready to study, we are there to help him out. But otherwise also, we do understand the kind of situation they are going through, and we are trying to help them out as much as possible.
Thank you, Anjuji, for your remarks. And we do understand, like, technology has been very supportive, and how institutions, colleges, universities have used technologies to reach out to the student and support them in their learning process, so there is no break in their learning journey. So overall, I think we had a very good discussion over this topic, and I'm thankful to all panelists for sharing their views. But at the same time, we feel that yes, there has to be more. There is more need to support international students. And these conversations can be to help international students to adjust to the higher education system of the host country, explaining them the cultural differences in the educational delivery. Also, there is a need to promote positive social relationship between international students and peers, like we talked about the mentoring possibilities and mentoring services offered by different institutions. We also spoke about establishing partnership between international students and local community groups of organizations. We also spoke about creating career planning and development services by organizing workshops, programs, seminars, by which students can also make career decisions, as well as orientation program for international students pre and post arrival in the destination countries. So with this, I will now hand over it back to Mr. Sandeep Gulati, who can share his views. And once again, thank you so much for all the esteemed panelists for sharing your view. And I think it was a thought-provoking discussion. Thank you.
Thanks to everyone.
Thank you, Prashant.
Thank you so much, Prashant sir. I think this was a well thought of panel and a really, really important topic that you don't usually see at a lot of forums where, the role of international universities or institutions, a huge chunk of Indian population travels abroad, especially for their higher education. When you're talking about, pinpointingly majorly towards their masters, and once they do that, they have all the support and from the higher education institutions that they definitely go from. And I think the higher education institutions that are representing here are doing a fantastic job, and congratulations to all of you. I think whether it is Seneca or SIK or Anju Ma'am's university, the leaders of of the higher education pinnacle is there with you, fine people, and you are the ones who are guiding the Indian students to reach there. And thank you so much for this amazing panel. It was a wonderful discussion. With this, we are coming to the close of the second day of Digital Education Summit and Awards. The day 3 is lined up tomorrow from 10:30 a.m. We would love to have you all back in our various physical, virtual, and any other format of discussions are possible. We would love to have you all, all on the panel, guiding us, helping us to reach out to more number of students and helping more number of students. That is the aim of Universal Mentors Association at the end, so that all the stakeholders of the education fraternity are coming on the same platform. Thank you so much to all you wonderful speakers, to all you wonderful viewers. Thank you so much thank you once again, and have a wonderful evening ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Sandeep.
Thank you.
Gulati.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.